So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Where I currently am, it is 7:42 a.m. over here in Unionville, Tennessee. But for Andrian, Ayung, and Luther over in Malaysia, what time is it right now? You said it was like 8 or probably closer to
8:42.
9 now?
Yes, close to the 8:42 p.m.
Right, understood. So we are here to do episode 22 of the Anatomy Podcast. And if you guys have been listening to our previous episodes, you understand that our formula consists of part 1 and 2, which is basically the people and the band itself, just asking all the juicy questions. So this episode is going to be Measmata, right? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes.
Okay. And this is a band that has been growing in the scene. They have a pretty good following, and they are planning to release a song soon, collaborating with none other than Greg Gilbert of Lothbrok. And, that's pretty badass. So we are here to talk about the band's history, promote that single coming up, and prepare everybody for anything else they have to offer this year. So, to say the least, I know y'all are from different parts of Malaysia, correct?
Yep. Yes.
Splendid. So if anything, what I'm going to have you do right off the bat is just introduce yourself. Basically, tell us a little bit about yourself, where specifically in Malaysia you are, where you grew up, and basically give us a few highlights of how you got into music. Anybody can start off, though.
Okay, first of all, I'm Ayung. I'm a bassist for Measmata. Basically, I start my music career from 2009, I think. First of all, originally I play guitar, not a bass. But since I enter Measmata, I play bass for Measmata.
Sweet.
So I got metal in the scenes, entering the scenes because of our friend. I got a friend a few back then, introduced me metalcore, deathcore, and so on. Actually, I play for symphonic metal. I like symphonic metal band, not the core one.
Right.
So and then I enter Measmata. Then I think that the modern metal just nice. Just nice.
Yeah, no, I can definitely agree with that. And hands down, my first question for you would be: you've described that you were getting into various bands, various like metalcore bands, and you're more of a symphonic metal type of person, but you ended up joining Measmata nonetheless. So, kind of digging more into your musical background, and well, actually, before we do that, where in Malaysia are you from, Mr. Ayung?
I come from Sabah, Kota Kinabalu.
Okay, fun.
Okay.
Yeah, and to say the least, how has your experience, like in the place that you live in the world, like how has it affected the music that you write for Measmata?
Sorry.
So, like where you come from and where you live, like how has that affected like your kind of writing style with the way that you approach Measmata? So, like, has the place that you've lived most of your life inspired you to do certain things for the music?
Actually, quite a lot of things inspired me for Measmata, such as the scene and all my friend
Right. So basically, let's see. Malaysia, does it have a pretty big metal scene then, like a pretty big slam scene, or?
You can ask Luther about that because I'm new to the scene.
Oh, right.
Ah,
Yeah, no problem.
Luther,
So
can
in
you?
that case, let's see, just kind of gently migrating forward. Let's see, what is one of your like top bands? Like, what is one of your favorite bands or artists? And it doesn't have to be metal. Like, what is the biggest one for you that's helped you kind of write what you do for Measmata, Ayung?
I think it is Iron Maiden.
Iron Maiden. Okay, cool. Yeah,
because
and
I
Iron.
grew up listening to them.
Right. You can continue. Sorry.
I grew up listening to Iron Maiden because of all of my cousin play music, so I, they listen to apa give the song Iron Maiden song to me to listen, and then I mostly attach to music from Iron Maiden.
Okay, cool. That's actually really cool. And Iron Maiden is definitely that's a first for the podcast without a doubt. Because usually bands and artists they'll name off bigger, more iconic ones. And Iron Maiden is definitely one of those, but they name off like Slipknot or Korn or Linkin Park.
Yeah.
So it's cool to finally have a band on the podcast who got or have a basis on the podcast who derives a lot of inspiration, originally guitarist from Iron Maiden. That's really cool. So if anything, let's see, we'll go ahead and migrate forward. And either Andrian or Luther, just go ahead and kind of introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from, where you grew up, and how you got into the music that you are now participating in.
Lut, go on.
Okay, my name is Lucas, and I'm from Sabah.
Sabah. Okay.
Same state with all of them, and then I live in Beaufort, some district in Sabah, and I play drums since I was 10 years old. At the time,
Okay.
I play with punk rock.
Right. So you started doing drums when you were about 10 years old then, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
And play with, and then I ever played with some big names in metal, black metal in Sabah, like Manta, death metal. And then he the one that he proposed me to go to Measmata. So I'm glad to be the new member of Measmata for this
Sweet.
album.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And let's see, I would have to ask then, being that you got into drums when you were about 10 years old, there's a lot of prominent death metal influence. There's a lot of metal influence. Do you have any genres outside of metal that you listen to, like rap, hip hop, pop, anything like that?
Yeah, I like hip hop. I like some, but now I love more lo-fi songs.
Lo-fi.
Make me relax.
Ooh, okay, cool. No, that's awesome. That's actually really cool.
When it comes to the studio, I just go crazy with my drumming.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Let's see. Let's see. What would you say is one of your top 5 artists? Do you have any artists that you are constantly looking up to? Maybe some specific drummers in the worldwide metal community?
I like Pete Sandoval from Morbid Angel, Travis Barker, Blink-182, Nicholas Barker from the old drummer for Terrorizer and Pedro Lofield. Two. Sean Harun, my friend, is a good drummer in Sabah, also in Malaysia, one of the greatest drummers here in Malaysia.
Sweet.
And that guy, GB, he's also a drummer. He is also a drummer, very good drummer.
Oh, cool. No, that's actually really cool. And let's see. So you mentioned Iron Maiden. Wait, no, that I do apologize. That was Ayung. So I heard Morbid Angel, because your mic is a little bit muffled right now, but like I can hear you pretty well, I'm pretty sure. So I heard Morbid Angel. I heard about a couple local drummers, including Andrian here. And those are all drummers that you kind of inspire to and look to for inspiration.
Yeah.
Sweet. I know, it's awesome. And it's always really cool to know drummers as friends and just constantly be inspiring and promoting each other, just embracing each other and just like kind of making sure to keep everybody motivated. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I mean,
yep.
that's super cool, and that's super important to everything in the
Indeed,
band. Yeah.
All
So
all
yeah, hell yeah, man. In that case, Andrian, you are last. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us where you were born, where you're from, and basically everything in between.
All right. What's up? My name is Andrian. I play guitar for Measmata. First of all, would like to apologize because English is not my main language, so probably it's
Right.
gonna
Yeah.
sound a little bit weird for us.
No,
I think.
no, you're fine. You're fine.
So yeah. Actually, I'm the newest, not the newest, second newest member to join Measmata as a guitarist.
Okay.
So
cool.
yeah, I live in Tawau, Sabah, also Sabah.
Sweet.
Started playing music around 2009 maybe. I played drums before, like Luther mentioned.
Right.
I played drum, yeah, before joining Measmata. I played drum on my band called Serpentine Offering.
Okay.
We play basically based on death metal, melodic death metal.
Oh. We still connected? Andrian, are you there?
yes, he's gone.
Oh, there he is.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Just wondering where you went for a second.
My internet connection just went berserk that time. So yeah, I play drum on my older band, should I say. We play death metal and stuff. We cover more like Necropages, Black Dahlia Murder, so on and so forth lah.
Yeah.
So basically, Ki asked me to join Measmata. Ki, our vocalist, he asked me to join Measmata as a guitarist. So yeah, basically he's a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
I knew him for a long time, such a long time. So I said yes, and here I am, I guess.
Sweet. No, it's awesome. And do you, as a, so you're a drummer as well as a guitarist, and you're the second
Yep.
and newest member to be joining the Measmata lineup, which is super cool. I can only imagine that's exciting for you.
Yeah, sure.
But with that being said, do you have any artists that you've constantly looked up to, whether drummers and or guitarists from specific bands?
Drummer, I guess. Siapa sih nih Luther nama dia?
Nah, gitu.
Siapa nama dia? The old Black Dahlia Murder drummer.
Okay, cool.
Oh, ini kayak model.
Siapa tuh nama dia? Lupa aku.
The
So yeah. Who?
drummer from Black Dahlia Murder.
The older one.
Right.
What is his name? Okay, I forgot. So yeah, basically that guy, and also the guitarist I say who?
Shannon Lucas.
That's right. Shannon Lucas. First drummer that I follow to be my number one influence on drumming is that guy, Shannon Lucas.
Okay, Shannon Lucas.
I guess, yeah.
Sick.
So basically, Black Dahlia Murder is my main influence on writing as a band, on drumming, playing guitar.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's an awesome band. And what's cool is we've had bands on the podcast before who have contributed the entire sound of the band itself, not even just individual members, but the entire band to catering to that of the Black Dahlia Murder. So that's always really cool. And it's very apparent to me that I need to listen to more of the Black Dahlia Murder, including just more
You should.
more times listening to their newest record, Verminous.
Yep.
I guess it's just like what I told the other band is like the album covers, they kind of all sound the same, or they all look the same to me. So therefore, the imagery kind of expresses a similar sound between all the records. And I'm like, well, if it's the same thing every record, then that, kind of gets stale after a bit. But nonetheless, Verminous has been a pretty interesting record to listen to when I have. let's see. So that being said, y'all have been friends for quite some time, right? Or do you exclusively know each other through the band?
No.
Okay, so you've all been friends for quite some time, so I can only imagine that
Yes.
that makes for pretty good chemistry.
I guess so. Yeah.
Pink metal, got hardcore gig, and then we meet each other there, and then we knew each other before we are Measmata right now.
Cool. Yeah, and that's awesome. And let's see. So we got Andrian, Ayung, and Luther in here. Because Measmata is kind of a newer project to me, and I seem to not be as familiar with it as I thought I was. Is it just the vocalist that would have been left for the interview then? Or
Also one of the other guitarists.
oh, the
Perez,
other, okay,
he's busy with works and
right.
stuff.
So we got the guitarist and then the vocalist,
Vocalist,
and then
yes.
yeah, and then the rest of you guys, which is really, really cool. Just like to kind of get myself familiar with what we got going on with the lineup.
Sure.
And let's see. Is anybody here in call like primarily responsible for the songwriting practices for Measmata? Does anybody have a more prominent role in that?
I guess it's me, I guess.
Yeah, there you go. Cool.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And
The
so
arrangement is me, but the lyrics all goes to Key, the vocalist, our vocalist.
First of all,
understood.
can I ask you something?
Yes, sir. Of course.
What do you think about Measmata new song?
Yeah.
I haven't heard the new song just yet, but I have heard bits and previews of it. And by all means, I will be doing a good old reaction eventually.
Right. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, that should be awesome. And I love
Are you
for
gonna
one.
do the reaction too?
What's up?
Are you going to do the reaction for the song?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be doing a reaction video for the song, and I'll be uploading it sometime in the near future. I didn't even know it was released yet, and like that's kind of the funny thing. So that's actually the only reason I haven't checked it out. I didn't know it was out yet. I thought y'all were I thought we were actually using this podcast to promote it before it came out. And that's why I was like, oh yeah, Greg Gilbert might also be coming on. That's cool. He can promote like what he contributed to the song, but
Yep.
it all works out nonetheless. And I'll tell you one thing for sure. I also did not know that, beforehand, before we really got into planning for this interview, that y'all were from Malaysia. But I think it's just because of all the bands I've been talking to recently and like all the bands I've been planning interviews for. So I'm like, oh shit, they're from Malaysia. Okay. I thought y'all were from the States, not even kidding. But love the logo, love the artwork, love the visual aesthetics that you guys got going on for this project. And
Thanks, dude.
yeah. And let's see.
Thanks.
Is the song name pronounced Zepemos or
Yes. Zepesmos.
Zepesmos?
That's right.
Yep.
Sick. And let's see. Do you guys know what the meaning is behind the track name? Or
Ada
Building.
did you mention it before?
let's see. I'm not sure. Let's see.
Let
Because
me
of
see,
the super small meaning? You mean?
Yep.
Based on Greek.
Oh,
Greek
it has like
language.
Greek mythology behind it, or
Yes.
cool. All right, cool. Yeah, that's actually really interesting. So with that being said, let's see. It is currently 8 a.m. We've been going for a little bit for sure. And let's see. I would have to ask you individually at this point, what is an important mechanic for y'all when you're writing like Measmata songs and stuff, or contributing to the writing process? Like for each of you, what is like the most important thing about writing a Measmata song?
Okay, for me, basically the most important thing is we didn't lose our main influences on music. What brings us to play metal before? So like Ayung, he said he like Iron Maiden, right? Luther more to black metal stuff, and me I play more like death metalish kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, the most important thing for me is we didn't lose that thing
Yes.
in our song. Yeah, for me lah.
But you make it fusion.
Oh yeah, a good old fusion of everything.
Fusion of everything. Yes, I
Yeah,
guess.
there you go. No, and that's the best thing about music is these days got plenty of bands in the scene who are more than willing to jump outside of even metal. Like Chelsea
Yep.
Grin, for example, that's a big one.
Yeah. Chelsea
None of
Grin.
them actually listen to deathcore, except maybe one of them. They all listen to hip hop. They all listen to pop. They listen
Yeah.
to R&B. They just listen to music that's fun, that's entertaining, that's like stimulating for the brain. And then they
Yes.
come together, they blend it, and you have what is Eternal Nightmare, The Desolation of Eden, like all the records so far, which I think is really, really cool. And it's very, very important as a musician to keep a sense of variety in what you're doing as a creator, as a musician, because otherwise, if you're just listening to metal all the time, then it will get stale. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We stuck with same sound, same riff.
Yeah, exactly. Same song, same riff. It gets boring after a little bit. So it's good to keep an open mind when it comes to all that type of stuff. Now, are you guys familiar with the project Makhluk?
Maksud, from Indonesia.
Yeah, from Indonesia.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Sick. Yeah. Well, I mean, by all means, it's let's see. I'm trying to keep a good track because it's been forever since I've been in school. Isn't Malaysia pretty close to Indonesia? Or
Yes.
sweet. There you go. Let's see. And then
Kind of Malaysia.
yeah, there you go. Have y'all had a chance to let's see. Should we be expecting a collab between Makhluk and Measmata in the future?
Why not?
I think
I guess.
why not?
Why not?
Yeah, that's
We can
fine.
try. Yeah,
Yeah.
we can try. Maybe.
Because their songs is quite similar.
What's up?
Their song, Makhluk. Sound
Yeah, Makhluk.
quite similar.
Right, cool. Okay. Well, let's see. With that being said, that's probably going to wrap up the first half of the podcast in which, getting to know the musicians behind Measmata, that being Andrian on guitar, Ayung on bass, and Luther on drums. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you guys on so far. Thank you for deciding to stop by. So these are
Thank you
now
for inviting us.
now these are the juicier questions of the podcast. You know what I mean? We're trying to dig under the skin as much as possible and kind of dig into the anatomy, the vessel that is Measmata, this Malaysian deathcore project inspired from that of Iron Maiden, the Black Dahlia Murder, and plenty of other iconic bands in the worldwide metal scene. So if you don't have an answer, you can answer to the best of your ability. If you've established your own headcanon for what the meaning is, by all means. But I was curious on where the name Measmata came from for the band.
From a game, I think.
Actually, Measmata the name came from a video game called Measmata. It is a survival game.
Ah,
Uh,
interesting. Okay.
The spelling is
for our band, we are surviving to strive more achievement from the past. Wow.
Ah, interesting. Okay. So the band name then is inspired from a video game.
Video game,
Yes,
yeah.
video game.
Basically.
No, it's actually pretty cool. And have you guys all had a chance to play this game? Do you have a pretty strong connection to it, or
I haven't played that. I haven't played that game.
Long time ago,
long time ago?
before I
Okay.
joining Measmata, actually.
Okay, cool. No, that's actually really cool. And the logo is actually pretty unique as well. If anything, I might have my editor go ahead and pull it up on the screen. That way I can display to everybody because I really like the way it's done. Is there any especially with the sigil in the middle or whatever we got going on in the very, very top middle of the logo?
Yeah.
Does that contribute to anything lyrically with the band? Are you guys aiming for more an evil theme or vibe with this project, or?
I guess so. Yeah.
Cool. No, that's pretty cool. Luther, Ayung, do you guys have any commentary on that?
I think
You wanted to do more
Adrian.
What's up, Luther? Sorry, it cut out for a sec. Oh yeah, that's pretty self-explanatory. There we go.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Luther explains it all.
Yeah. No, that's
want,
great.
we want when people listen to our music, they will like they have the spirit, they have the energy
Energy. Yes.
Mm,
to be on or to kill someone that likes a bird,
right,
someone that
right.
don't like some,
Because for me, deathcore is not about. It's not all about heavy breakdown, slow chugging breakdown. No, for me, it's not. For me, I like my music to be as fast as possible,
Ah,
as crunching as
And the
possible
melody.
for me. Melody as well, because I'm more to the technical death metal stuff, melodic death metal stuff. So yeah, I would like to keep it that way.
and that makes sense. That definitely adds variety because,
Yes.
beat down bands, that's more or less like what is the slowest you can go while also keep people like active and just beating the shit
Yep.
out of each other.
Yeah,
That's kind of what beat down
exactly.
is to me.
Yeah, exactly.
And then deathcore, it's more or less like at its roots, it's like, okay, so you have breakdowns, but you have something that's pretty easily digestible, marketing wise, you know what I mean? Like Spy,
Yeah.
let's see, Enterprise, Earth, all that fun stuff. And they've
Yeah.
kind of just established their own little corners in the community now, which is super cool. So yeah, definitely. It's Measmata, faster band, faster project, faster thrash metal influence. That only makes sense if you're like as big of a fan of the Black Dahlia Murder as you are,
Yeah.
just constantly keeping it almost creepy, spooky, ambient,
Yep.
and like the musical imagery of just someone kind of like convulsing and crunching around because they're possessed or
Yeah,
something. Just
exactly.
keep them dancing, keep them dancing with the
Exactly.
devil.
Yes.
But let's see. Though we do not have the feature here, nor the vocalist, the lyricist, to kind of dig into what it
The lyrics
Zephesmos
are
is.
yeah.
Yeah. So being that this single seems to be out, seems to be released, which again, I had no idea, so I got to check out the song now.
Please do.
Yes, of course. What can you guys tell me about this track compared to like, is this your debut release or have you guys released music before?
It's
Or like, is it your
yeah,
first release?
no, exactly.
We released four, I think, four songs,
Four
four singles.
song.
Oh, you guys got four
singles
singles
already.
out?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So being like those songs have already been released and you guys have had 3 installments for Measmata before, what was the different approach with Zebesmos?
I guess Greg joining us. It's a big thing for us.
Right.
He's a powerful vocalist.
Agreed.
Monster, that guy. That guy is
Yeah.
some serious monster.
Yeah, hell yeah. And so like you have Andrian, you have more the black metal influence. Luther, you've said Morbid Angel, and Ayung, you said Iron Maiden. So how did that all collide and kind of mesh well with the song, do you think? Like what were the best features that kind of stuck out in the song that correlated to the bands you guys inspired to?
I guess the overall sounding of the riff, I guess.
Right.
Because, the riff is more like that black metalish stuff, that power chord, like that. So yeah. And also our vocalist he asked me to keep doing the breakdown thing.
Right.
So I guess we put a fast riff there and also a heavy breakdown, I guess.
Yeah.
For me.
Right. No, that makes sense. How about you, Luther? Seems to be illustrating it pretty well.
Yep.
Oh, your mic is not working right now, friend.
Luther.
He's like, oh shit.
He's on his mobile phone, so yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Not sure what's going wrong with that. So while he's trying to work that out and fix that, Ayung, what was like the most what was the most like prompt?
Okay, okay.
Oh, there you go. Luther's back. And we are indeed running out of time now, just to let you guys know. But Luther, go ahead and tell us, like what was the most important Morbid Angel esque influence for Zepesmos?
Sepesmos, when first the breakdown is not that hard at the first, but when Didi do the rearrange the song back and then the breakdown, he was like,
Yeah.
I was like, when I practiced that song, I was like, oh shit, I missed the pedal, I missed that part, I missed the so I really gonna make 8 to 9 hours for only one song every
I'm
day.
sorry for that, Lud.
to practice
I'm
the
sorry for
song.
that.
No, you're good. No, that's actually pretty funny. So like I take it you spent a lot of time just perfecting the recording for this song.
Yeah,
Same as me.
drum playthrough will be uploaded not too soon, but soon.
Not too soon.
Not too soon, but
Not too soon, but soon.
how
I
about
use
you,
face
Ayung?
mask at that time. I don't want to show people my teeth.
Right.
What the fuck?
Hey, I got the same thing too, man. It's like a little bit less prominent, I would say, but like I can still freaking shoot water through my teeth, man. Like it's I'm with you on that.
Ew.
But no, like nonetheless, it's actually pretty awesome, and it's interesting to hear about the creative process and your contributions to what is Zepesmos ended up being. And therefore, I'm even more hyped to be hearing this track whenever I do. Probably it will be a little bit after we're done with session, really. But Ayung, what was the most prominent Iron Maiden kind of influence going into Zepesmos for you?
I will basically I will the energetic from Iron Maiden, so I will bring to the Sepasmos
Mhm.
energetic vibe.
Oh,
So
the
I will
energetic
bring
vibe?
yes, so I
Right.
will bring that into Sepasmos.
Welcome to the scum. Pop, 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 pop.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And like, let's see, is there like a certain song that reminded you, or like a certain song by Iron Maiden that was like, okay, I need to pluck this and then kind of integrate it into what Zepesmos is? That would be like a more
Favorite song from our first single, Megalomaniac.
Megalomaniac is not from the Supersmos.
Oh.
megalomaniac.
Yeah.
Cool.
Our first single, so there's a certain bass line I would take from Iron Maiden, then I put it in that song.
Megalomaniac.
Right. Okay, cool. No, that's awesome. Let's
You
see.
should listen to Megalomaniac.
So
the first single.
Megalomaniac, the first single from
Yeah.
Measmata, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Ah, right. Understood. I'll be sure to check it out. Check out everything, boys. Don't worry. Like I didn't know
Sorry
y'all
for
had
my English.
I didn't know y'all had music out, like so much music out already. So that's on me. I'll go ahead and correct that though, promise.
No
So-
problem.
With that being said, let's see. With Zepesmos now released and 3 singles already out before that, so now you'll have 4 songs out. What are your plans? Do you guys have any plans for releases later this year, whether EP or the first full length for Measmata? And if so, what can you guys tell me about that without revealing too much, of course?
No, it's okay. Full length on December, I think.
Full length down
Hey, guys?
December?
Are you ready,
Yes,
guys?
yes.
Full length?
Full length album.
Full length
on
December.
December.
Sweet.
Maybe it is around
Feature
11 track.
11 tracks overall.
Okay, cool. 11 tracks
Mm.
overall.
A lot
Full-
of featuring another vocalist from a different band
Sweet.
locally
Local
and
band.
also abroad. So yeah,
Cool.
we are
No,
excited
that's
for it.
yeah, I can only imagine that's exciting for you guys getting your first
Yep.
full length out. So in that case, let's see. It is currently 8:15 a.m. and hasn't been that long without a doubt. But this was episode 22 of the Anatomy Podcast featuring Luther, Patrick, Ayung Raffle, and Andrian Ghazali from Measmata. We will be taking some time here pretty soon to check out that of their first 4 singles. And to say the least, people, stay tuned, stay prepared for their first 11-track full-length record out this
Yep.
December, which that should be really, really cool. And
Yeah,
otherwise, let's see, do you guys have anything you want to say? before we go ahead and wrap up the session?
Thank
I
you
guess.
for inviting us, having us.
Yeah.
Also, my English not very good.
Hey, I
Our
mean,
English.
honestly, dude, I can still understand every single one of you, so that's what's important.
Thank you, dude.
Yeah, of course. You guys be
I
sure
want
to
to-
enjoy. Whoop. Yes, sir. What's up?
Sorry.
You're good.
I wanted to shout out to Sean Cross to invited us to this podcast. This is a very a big thing for us. And
I
thank you,
appreciate
Sean, for
Yeah.
having us.
Of course, man.
You're a great man.
Hey, you
It's
know
our
what?
first
Hell
time.
yeah, man. Kudos to you. I
Salud.
appreciate the support. Salud. There you go.
And then we are
Thank you.
very sorry because of our English are not that good.
No, you're
But
fine. No, you're fine. Like
thanks. Thank
honestly,
you.
I'll say one thing before we go ahead and wrap up. This is very, very important, and this is to every single foreign band who has like reached out to me. English is a very broken language. I'm 22 years old and I'm still learning how to say certain things. That's how complex and just broken it is. It's universally accepted. It's
Yep,
planned. It's accepted like pretty throughout. But I'll tell you right now, half the language out. Hey, Jesus. Half the languages out there, including your own, are actually a lot more easier to learn than English is. So, absolutely no problem. And if anybody
the
is
worst.
like, if anybody is nervous about being on the podcast because they think that because they're from Swiss or because they're from Germany or anywhere else on the planet, their English is broken, do not worry. You probably just speak professional English and you speak like older English for sure. But nonetheless, you can communicate. It's okay. Don't be afraid to reach out to me. But with that being said, boys, thank you for your time and be sure to enjoy your night.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Of course.